Greetings on behalf of the Baltimore-Washington Conference's Discipleship Council. I'm Chris Neal.
And I'm Andre Briscoe Jr. This has been a very busy year. We have welcomed many new team members and celebrate the skilled servant leaders who have given their time to the work of the council.
We have participated in the work of restructuring.
We have recast the Disciple Ministries report in a church mission and vitality progress report.
And talked about the need for healing in our churches and the conference resources available for that. As is our custom, we focused our work on alignment around the mission, vision, and goal of the annual conference. The Baltimore-Washington Conference inspires and equips local faith communities to develop disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world, so that more transform lives transform lives. Bishop Easterling's goal for us is that 100% of churches become 100% vital. This vitality is marked by deepening discipleship, seeing and valuing all people, living and loving like Jesus, and multiplying impact. Multiplying world-transforming disciples is the main thing. A large part of our work to date focused on assessing and dreaming about how to ensure the main thing is the main thing for local churches through participation in conversations about restructuring and the Discipleship Ministries report, along with conversations with conference discipleship boards about how they are seeking to ignite and support this.
Since 2021, we have presented results from the Discipleship Ministries report that are essential indicators of whether holistic discipleship is happening and how the input from local churches is being used to align the work of the discipleship boards, annual conference resources to support the vitality of local churches. At its inception, we had hoped local churches would view the report as a way to reflect on their ministry through the lens of multiplying world-transforming disciples and use it also to set goals for the coming year. We have come to understand that the Discipleship Ministries report has gotten lost in the church conference paperwork and is not being used to reflect on ministry as it was intended. We have spent time streamlining it and recasting it as a local church development and planning tool that also informs conference-level resources and ministry. This year, as we share the results from this 2023 Church Conference Forum, we will give you time to reflect on what this might mean for your church and whether your church wants to be a part of a pilot for a new process.
Question number 1 is designed to measure the degree to which churches are witnessing to Jesus Christ through acts of justice, compassion, devotion, and worship, under the guidance of the Holy Spirit. This year, we celebrate gains reported in witnessing, which is a public act of word and or deed that tells others what you have personally experienced of Jesus. On this slide, you will see the more frequent behaviors in the darker teal and the less frequent behaviors in incrementally lighter teal. Consistent behaviors of witnessing and acts of justice are lagging behind the other dimensions of discipleship. Acts of justice are communal spiritual disciplines practiced by congregations united with the other institutions working for the common good. For example, addressing poverty, ending oppression and discrimination in all forms. We also noticed some strong interactivity among the data. The 137 churches who reported most people witness also report higher acts of justice, compassion, and worship than the overall population. Likewise, the 28%, or 140 churches, who reported that they often engage in acts of justice as a community also report increases in all other aspects of discipleship. This wouldn't be surprising to John Wesley, the founder of Methodism. Given this dynamic and our desire to reawaken our DNA, we would strongly encourage churches to focus on equipping disciples to witness and engage in acts of justice.
Question 2 asks, what is the current state of the congregation's intentional discipleship process? We ask this because the expectation is that all churches have a clear process for inviting, maturing, and sending out world-transforming disciples that supports deepening discipleship in all aspects of the above definition. This chart illustrates the status of local congregations and the development of an intentional discipleship process. The Conference Leadership Development Board uses this information to align annual conference resources to support local congregations to increase their capacity for making and maturing disciples. We celebrate that a few more churches believe they could be a teaching church and are actively implementing an intentional discipleship process in their congregation than last year. This past year, the board offered opportunities to work on their discipleship plans, and only a few churches engaged with those resources. Starting in the fall of 2024, coaching will be made available to congregations who would like support in developing a congregational discipleship plan. Question number 3 of the report asks congregations to select all statements which best describe the congregation's level of vitality. This area of measurement needs to be radically reimagined, as we aren't sure how it is possible for the majority of churches who reported no professions of faith also reported growing in discipleship. Additionally, these questions also aren't connected to our understanding of vitality markers, of seeing all the people, deepening discipleship, living and loving like Jesus, and multiplying impact. In the future, we imagine asking churches questions that help them explore and set goals around the other 3 aspects of vitality. Living and loving like Jesus causes servant leaders to put themselves on the line as they proclaim good news to the poor, heal the brokenhearted, set the oppressed free, and comfort all who mourn. Living and loving like Jesus moves us from the seats to the streets as we take the gospel beyond the walls of our buildings. Seeing all the people, which drives us to build authentic relationships that create belonging as everyone feels known and valued as children of God.
Question number 4 is part of our vitality work and starts with an excerpt from the United Methodist Constitution on racial justice and the Book of Discipline, then invites congregations to describe where they are on their journey toward embodying anti-racism. While we celebrate that 3% more congregations have actually joined the journey since last year, and we are seeing progress in all areas except one, we still have much work to do. For one thing, it is clear that we have different understandings of what a long time is, based on conversations that Brave Conversation resourcers, the racial justice team, and others have had. A different approach to measuring progress and supporting congregations in their growth in this area is needed and is ready for testing. Question number 5 asks congregations to share the ways that they are creating spaces of belonging and beloved community through inclusion, diversity, and equity. We celebrate those individual churches who recorded increases in the areas where they have grown in their practices that make all feel welcomed and valued.
We realize that many of you who provide information to the conference or denomination wonder if anyone reads or uses the information you provide. The answer is a resounding yes, and we want to share an interactive data tool that is made possible through all congregations submitting their Discipleship Ministries report. When the Discipleship Council first saw this tool, we thought it would not only help churches see that the data they provide is being used, but they could also use it to better collaborate and map assets in the communities in which they serve. We also see it as a helpful tool to inform the formation of collaborative hubs of congregations.
Let's explore what information is available by looking at a couple of examples. Number 1, let's say your church has been talking about putting together an intentional discipleship plan, but has gotten stuck on understanding what that means. You would click on the Discipleship tab after the About section. Then select Yes, next to the Teach Others answer for question 2A. You see that there are 15 churches from across the Baltimore-Washington conference who believe they could teach others about IDPs or intentional discipleship plans. Since you live in Baltimore City, you select Baltimore City from the county list. Look at the map in the upper right-hand corner, and you will see the 4 churches that meet these 2 criteria, and also a list of their names. You can use the drawing tool on the map to select a smaller geographic area if you'd like. Or let's say you are looking to join with other United Methodist churches in Jefferson County, West Virginia, to engage in monthly dialogue and learning opportunities as a part of your commitment to racial justice. You would click on the Idea tab at the bottom of the tool. IDEA stands for Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Anti-Racism. Once there, you select the 60% who answered yes to question 4C. And while holding down the Control key on your computer, you also select Jefferson County. You then can see the map points and names of churches who you may want to bring together to see what bigger impact you might make by collaborating.
Or perhaps you want to see if there are any nearby churches who have less than 5 youth and might see the benefit of starting a collaborative youth ministry in Prince George's County. Go to the Young People's Ministry tab, YPM. Select those who answered that they have 1 to 4 youth ages 12 through 18 on question 21. And with the Control key pressed down, select Prince George's County from the county list. That will enable you to see 10 United Methodist churches who matched your criteria. Or maybe your church feels called to ensure no one goes hungry in Frederick, Maryland. You could go to the Assets 1 tab and select those who answered yes for both a working commercial kitchen in question 9 and, while holding down the Control key, feeding ministries in question 26. With the Control key still down, select Frederick County. The QR code and short URL for the interactive data tool is on the screen and may be found in the Discipleship Council report, online, and in the conference booklet. Please try it out and let us know what you think.
Multiplying impact is the 4th aspect of vitality and aligns our mission to God's calling by listening and discerning with the broader community how we might reshape ministry and repurpose resources for the greatest good. It involves how well we leverage our time, talents, treasure, and energy for joining with Jesus and others in creating abundant life for all those in our church and community. This includes partnering well, multiplying disciple-making leaders, being a blessing to the community because we are meeting a tangible need and using all of our God-given assets for the furtherance of the gospel.
If you are interested in helping to pilot the next version of the Discipleship Ministries report, please let us know by completing a 3-question form, which will be sent to all churches. We are designing the Church Mission and Vitality Progress Report to 1, keep us focused on developing disciples for the transformation of the world. 2, record progress and set intentions around measures of vitality beyond participation measurements. For example, number of people in worship, at events, etc. And 3, support local church annual goal setting and connect churches with district and conference resources to improve vitality. We imagine this progress report being completed by the church leadership decision-making body that is focused on vision, mission, and ministry, and that gets submitted as an annual congregational evaluation and intention-setting tool in support of churches becoming 100% vital.
This coming ministry year, we will be working on 3 items. Number 1, learning from a pilot of the Church Mission and Vitality Progress Report and launching the new process before Annual Conference 2025. Number 2, providing input on the implementation of the new restructuring as needed. And number 3, supporting the various constitutional items from General Conference. For example, the regionalization legislation, coming to Annual Conference in 2025 for a vote.
We would like to thank Bishop Easterling for her vision and for calling us deeper into our life and world-transforming discipleship.
And all the many leaders in this conference who are doing their part to make it so, including our incredible Discipleship Ministries staff and servant leaders.